SCP-096. SCP-096, also known as the SCARIEST, one of the most terrifying unknown entities contained by the SCP Foundation. This humanoid creature is tall, bald, with long arms and a disproportionately long jaw. Despite his disturbing appearances, SCP-096 is generally calm and passive, often found sitting or wandering aimlessly in its containment. However, his behavior drastically changes when his face is seen, whether in person, on photos, or even on video. If anyone sees his face, he will enter a state of emotional distress, covering his face with his hands and beginning to cry or scream. After a brief period of 20 to 30 seconds, SCP-096 will begin hunting down and killing anyone who has seen his face, no matter where they are in the world. Distance doesn't matter whether the person is on the other side of their planet or just around the corner. He will find you when it reaches the person who saw his face. He will kill them, often leaving no or barely any trace behind. Interestingly, despite his violent tendencies, SCP-096 has shown moments of unusual behavior. In one rare case, he was observed befriending a blind girl who had never seen its face, and he even sacrificed his life to protect her. There is one way to fix all of this, and it's by not looking at the guy. SCP-466. SCP-4666, also known as the Ule Man, is basically the SCP Foundation's version of Santa Claus. If Santa hated Orion and wanted to traumatize kids for life, this creepy entity is tied to a series of events known as Fictional events that happen every year between December 21 and January 2nd. It is described as an unnaturally tall, emaciated humanoid with pale skin and long white hair. It specifically targets families with young children living in isolated, snowy areas. Since he's chosen a house, he stalks it for several nights straight, just standing outside watching or making noises like footsteps on the roof or scratching at windows just to crank the nightmare fuel to maximum. And then on to final night, he breaks in. But unlike our typical burglar, it doesn't just loot your fridge and leave. He guess the adults first brutally, and then give us the kids gifts, which are handcraft tattoos made from, you guessed it, parts of their own family members. Nothing says Merry Christmas like a DIY action figure made from Uncle Bob's bones. No one knows exactly what it is, whether he's some ancient entity, a ghost, or just a really messed up due to refuses to retire. Buddha seems completely unaffected by the passage of time or the weather. Immortal Bob wrote, and 100% not bringing you a PlayStation 5 for Christmas. SCP-106. SCP-106, also known as the Old Man, is one of the most terrifying entities. This Kia-class anomaly has a decaying, rotting body with dark rust-colored skin. It moves slowly, but is capable of vanishing solid walls and floors, using this ability to escape and attack without warning. He has an ability to trick victims into its personal dimension, known as the Pocket Dimension, where it touches and kills them in the most brutal ways. It was once a soldier named Lawrence during World War I, but after a strange event in the trenches, he became completely changed, and even when given the chance to escape, it often returns to its containment cell, eager to torment captured individuals. Its ability to move through walls in its twisted dimension make it incredibly hard to contain, and multiple containment breaches have occurred over the years, resulting in numerous casualties. Moral of the story: if you hear rusty metal noises or suddenly smell something that makes you gag, you're already too late. SCP-1048. SCP-1048, also known as the Build-A-Bear Zone of the creepier and arguably more disturbing anomalies out there. SCP-1048 is a small, adorable teddy bear-like creature that seems like it could be a child's new best friend, until you realize that this bear is not quite as sweet as it seems. It's a class Euclid anomaly, and it's definitely got a dark side that's not as huggable as you might expect on the surface. 1048 looks like a regular stuffed bear. Cute, right? Wrong. This thing has a talent for creating other bears out of body parts. Yes, you heard me right. This little monster makes horrific, grotesque creatures using the body parts of anything or anyone it can get its paws on. But here's where it gets even worse. SCP-1048 is dangerously intelligent. It's not a dumb-minded creature. It's been able to avoid the Foundation's traps and can appear surprisingly innocent, which makes it all the more unsettling. It's clever enough to manipulate its environment and even uses its creations to terrorize people. The Foundation's efforts to deal with SCP-1048 have not been entirely successful, and the whole thing just continues to haunt the halls of containment. SCP-682. SCP-682, also known as the Hard-to-Destroy Reptile, is one of the most dangerous and terrifying entities the SCP Foundation has ever contained. This massive hostile creature is classified as Keter due to its extreme strength, intelligence, and relentless hatred for all life. SCP-682's appearance is that of a massive reptilian creature with scales that are almost indestructible. It has a crocodilian face with razor-sharp teeth and a terrifying, deathly appearance. It has regeneration abilities that would make Deadpool jealous. You could chop Itinto pieces, shoot it, burn it, or throw Itinto a volcano, and it would come back probably with a middle finger raised in your direction. In one documented case, it was reduced to what looked like pork chop leftovers, and it just regenerated itself. Despite all efforts to contain SCP-682, including extreme measures like using acid to try and dissolve it, it continues to escape and terrorize the facility. It is also known for its defeated of humans, often describing them as Disgusting. There have even been instances where SCP-682 has formed strange temporary alliances with other enemies like SCP-053 and SCP-079. SCP-173. SCP-173, also known as the Sculpture Ice Zone, of the most infamous anomalies in the SCP Foundation's containment. It is classified as a Euclid entity due to its unpredictable behavior and extreme danger. SCP-173 appears as a humanoid statue made of concrete and rebar with traces of crayon spray paint used to mark its body in a crude pattern. SCP-173 can only move when it's not being observed. If you're staring at it, it stays frozen in place. At the moment you break eye contact, it's like the world's fastest statue. It rushes toward you with lightning speed, snaps your neck, or strangles you. It's completely silent when it moves. To keep SCP-173 in check, the Foundation requires at least 3 people in the room at all times. So yeah, if you're ever in a room with it, keep those eyes wide open, and whatever you don't look away, blink, and you're done. SCP-049. SCP-049, also known as the Plague Doctor, is a humanoid anomaly contained by the SCP Foundation and classified as Euclid. It looks like a medieval Plague Doctor, wearing a thick robe and a ceramic mask shaped like a beak. However, this appearance is not clothing, it's part of its body. He is generally calm and cooperative, especially when not provoked. It speaks fluent English and several other languages, often behaving in a polite, old-fashioned manner. It constantly talks about a pestilence it claims to detect in living brain cells. What exactly this pestilence is has never been clearly defined. The terrifying part comes when SCP-049 believes someone is infected. Without winning, it will become aggressive, attacking the person with its bare hands. Touch is instantly fatal, causing all biological functions to cease immediately after killing the victims. SCP-049 will perform surgery using tools it pulls from inside its robe. It attempts to cure the body by modifying it internally, creating what it calls cured instances. These cured creations are reanimated corpses, barely mobile and severely damaged. They show no higher brain function, only following simple commands or wandering aimlessly. Despotetis. SCP-049 believes it is genuine life-saving people expressing sadness when containment protocols prevent it from practicing its medicine. SCP-939. SCP-939, nicknamed with many voices, is a terrifying predator contained by this Foundation and classified as key to due to its high danger level. SCP-939 are large red-skinned lizard-like creatures, though they have no eyes, and their bodies are sleek and almost amphibian-looking. Imagine if someone described a crocodile to a drunk artist and then did them to draw it from memory. That's SCP-939. Despite having no eyes, SCP-939 can hunt perfectly well, relying on sound and vibrations to track their prey. What makes SCP-939 truly terrifying is its ability to mimic human voices. It uses this to lure in victims by imitating cries for help, familiar voices, or anything that might convince someone to come closer once a target is near enough. 939 attacks without hesitation, killing quickly and dragging the body away. These creatures are extremely dangerous and have caused multiple contained breaches in the past. They often work alone, but there have been cases where multiple instances coordinate together, making them even more lethal. Because of their mimicry and hunting abilities, Foundation personnel are trained to never respond to voice you hear unless visually confirmed. If you ever hear a loved one calling your name in a place they absolutely shouldn't be, just remember it's probably blinded them.